Last night I had a dream that disturbs me. The first part of my dream could be happening right now. Two men were the inventors of a camera where the images were recorded and then those images were projected. Then the dream showed me a device that could zoom on the streets or inside the shops, but without staring at anything in particular, sometimes to the empty space, others to people, motorized cars. There were people who believed that these devices provided security, but others instead felt harassed by these gadgets. At this point, the dream progresses through time vertiginously. In what seems to be a university, young people created the previous device, though much smaller, and they called it camera. And through a crystal pane like a window, people were displayed, and so were some places that could be 1,000 miles away. The next scene of the dream caught my attention in a particular way. People wore a small device near their ears, which they called telephone. I think that Antonio Meucci never imagined that his invention could be wearable. During the dream, the action of tapping on the phone and images appearing on it repeatedly, constantly, it was overwhelming. At some point I could only see landscapes, foods and cats. Then the silence came. I was waiting to see what would be next, but I just saw a big circle with many cameras. I kept thinking of it and still tried to guess what it was. May it be a new camera for the filmmakers of the future? Who knows? The truth is that this dream showed me new ways to see the world. What we see is part of us, and it is important to know and be aware of what we are seeing so much as the way in which we see it. That's why my dream is not just a series of strange inventions, but the vision that has helped me to see that my invention, the kinetoscope, is much more than I first imagined. In my dream, mankind knew an invention called cinematograph, and from that moment it became an essential part of human being, as a way of expression and as a reflection of society. But the cinematographer has to go through its different phases. First, men will discover images in movement thanks to the first projector created by me. Well, I hope that my Brits won't take it too bad that I have borrowed the invention I found in his house. But not all of this is my merit as it may seem, for it will be the two inventors of the camera who will first give a real use to the kinetoscope, to project images. I must find a way to preempt these people in the invention of the camera. I will start as soon as I finish my last invention. There was a time during the night that I thought I was dreaming of unconnected things as any other night. I dreamt of the moon and some men that traveled to, of women dancing, and of a haunted house, but nothing as far from reality. In all these scenes I dreamt of, I always saw a man behind the camera. Apparently, the cinematograph found its place in the world. Then I saw a light. It was a screen and I could see people in the room. They were gesticulating and their lips were moving, but I couldn't hear anything else than the band playing before us. Then I could hear the sound of the images coming through the screen.
And I hereby vow never to fly over the Atlantic in bumpy weather and never to look at another camel. Drinks, anyone?
Afterwards, I found myself among the crowd. We all were waiting to enter a building with some sign that read movie theater. I jumped again in time, and I found a wide screen, though this time I was surrounded by many less people than I hadn't met before, and images came out from a small light beam coming from a smaller device. It was strange to see how something that had become a social ritual was now a more intimate act. A moment later, there was no screen but a square box where images were projected. Were projected? I looked around searching for a gadget as I had seen before. Instead, there was a rectangular device from which a black object came out, and it was transformed in something round and silvery and with a hole in the middle. If I have to give a logical explanation to what my subconscious showed me, I would say that the cinema is an entity that will evolve in unexpected ways, as will the way in which we enjoy it. For this reason, the future that awaits the film ritualist is unknown to me, but I can imagine it, and I can see movie theaters where the screens are an entire wall, as if the viewer was in a larger tank. So I would call it dive display. And I can also see a more cathartic show for the spectator. A show where people will see the images as if they were in front of them, as if they were part of their reality. This I will call virtual reality. But how will this story continue? Well, I will wait till Morpheus comes again tonight.